Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Witches and Wine. This is the show where we talk about witchy stuff and we drink wine. Clink and drink. Oh,
Clink and drink.
yes. Clinking and drinking with that beautiful lady over there. Mm. Oh, my goodness, yes. I think I got even a little wine mustache for that one. That was kind of a big gulp I took. I am your hostess with the mostest, Lola Stardust.
And I'm Silent as Stardust.
And we are children of the crossroads. And we are so excited that you're here for our wonderful guest. Before we get started, I do want to let everyone know that we have had, it's like a disclaimer. We have had people sometimes say, you guys drink and you talk and you get out, and it's like, well, yeah, it's called Witches and Wine for a reason. But if you do not like hearing about witchcraft and seeing people enjoy themselves in a Dionysus type way, there's this X in the corner of the screen that you can click and will disappear.
Yep.
It's
power.
magic.
It's power. It's control.
You've got the power to control your reality. So before we get to the...
It's my favorite. It's like, this is what we're doing. If you don't like it, click the X, yo. Yeah, I love it.
So before we get to our amazing guest that I'm so excited to have, and it's a repeat guest, we have quite a bit. I think you might be the most frequent guest. Roman Delgado's right behind you, I think.
Good job.
We're going to turn it over to my partner in crime, my high priest, my husband, my best friend. He's going to tell us about the wine. Silence, tell us about the wine.
So tonight I have chosen my favorite region of wine in the world, the Margaux region in Bordeaux, France. And this is Chateau Latour de Mons.
Okay, let's not cover your face, honey.
It is the newest vintage that's come out from this winery. It's a 2019. It's my first attempt on this vintage. Like all the Tour de Mons in previous vintages, dark, dry, chewy, absolutely delicious.
It's really good.
Yeah, just yum, 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 yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
And knowing that who we have on and that always enjoy the conversations, wanted to have some of our favorite wines to go with it. So
yes,
went back to a tried and true area for us.
Yes, the tried and true.
The tried and true.
Yeah. What does this pair good with, and what's the cost?
It's gonna pair with your big steak dinners, your robust, just really robust meat dishes.
Meaty.
Or portobello mushroom dish would go well for vegetarians.
Oh.
And what's gonna run you about $35 a bottle, $40. So expensive, but not crazy expensive.
Yeah.
This region can definitely get into the hundreds and thousands of dollars per bottle.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, so it's like that sometimes.
Wow.
But yeah, yum.
Yummy.
Just yum, yum, yum.
It's really good. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to our guest. You know her as she has been titled the voice, the vessel of the goddess. She has brought so much to our community through the Aquarian Tabernacle Church. She's out there doing the work of the goddess, really trying to evolve witchcraft that with the times, because we have to evolve. Mm-hmm. I want to welcome our very good friend, Belladonna LaVeau. Hi, Bella.
Hi, Bella. Hey, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. What was that? Oh, yes.
You have to know that my dog runs the stage set back here. So,
of course.
So she's just going to move props around and.
Well, you need a dog that can do that. Our dog just humps our leg.
She's actually right next to me, and she had a wonderful trip last time up to the tap. So
yes, we brought our lovely little Chanel up there a few weeks ago, and can I just say, Bella, that trip was so needed for us. Yep. The days we spent up there we had no worries, we had no stress. And we really enjoyed ourselves. I think it might have been one of our favorite trips up there. And we really appreciate you having us. And we can't wait to go back and hang out with you.
I'm so glad. We had so much fun with you. I loved your dog. Your dog was fun. And,
I know.
I was wondering when I was getting ready, I was thinking, why didn't we do Witches and Wine while you were here? And then you could get me drunk again and you'd have a new story about getting me dog-faced drunk and
We don't
throwing
talk
up
about
all
that
over the
story.
place.
We don't talk about that story. We don't talk
We
about
have
that.
filed that one away.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bella. Well, actually, Nim, who's in our comment section, she actually said you want to do a witches and wine, and I was like, you know what, we're on vacation. I didn't want to really work. You know what I mean? So yeah. So
you know,
and
you
I'm
can
glad.
count on Nim. You can count on Nim to be like, can we be productive while we're all together? Yes,
Yep.
yes, no,
I-
okay.
Yeah, no.
She is
it was
on the
great.
ball, that one.
She is on the ball. We love the
Bright
Nim.
future ahead of
So
her.
we have so much to talk about. So I think one of the big things we're going to talk about is the upcoming Spring Mysteries Festival. And for those of you that do not know what Spring Mysteries is, Bella, why don't you tell us what it is and what's happening with it this year?
Hermes is adding his excitement to the mix.
Yep.
Hermes, I'll talk to you after we're done. So we are so excited about Spring Mysteries Festival. It is amazing to me that every pagan on the planet doesn't know about Spring Mysteries Festival. It has been going on for 37 years. This is its 37th year. It's the restoration of the Eleusinian mysteries from ancient Greece. And people who know about the Eleusinian mysteries are like, sure it is. No, really, it is. Yeah. It's the restored mysteries from ancient Eleusis that the Aquarian Tabernacle Church was asked by Demeter to restore the rites. And she works with us every year to help us get a little bit closer. And I have taken Eleusinian historians through the rites and said, what can we add? And they've told me that I have finished the bucket list of their life and that they couldn't think of anything else to add and that it was amazing. So, no, it's the restored rites of ancient Greece, the city of Eleusis, where it was the holy city of Demeter. Kind of like, you know, Catholics have the holy city in today. Yeah. Demeter had a holy city and then Rome stole it.
What? The
Holy Roman Empire decided that that was a really nice thing and they should take it home. Yeah. And so they did. And then now it's the Vatican. So we have routinely done it in a state park called Fort Flagler on the beach with these awesome concrete bunkers that served really well to duplicate as Greek temples.
Yeah.
And these big barracks that had bunk beds in them that are basically for soldiers, and open bay showers and toilet stalls and all co-ed and stuff like that. Yeah. It was all pagan, so it's kind of cool. It's pre-COVID. So I talk about it now, it's like, oh, that don't sound so good. But pre-COVID, it was awesome.
Yeah.
They were having so much fun. And so then we had the staying at home time. We had our initiation into the underworld time as a planet. And we did them online. So now that we're coming back in person, we're doing it in a hotel. And originally, we were really not stoked about this idea. We were all like, oh, we miss Fort Flagler. But we can't do it at Fort Flagler because they closed the state park. It was never meant to operate past World War II, but it did. And then when old buildings don't have people in them, the spirit of the building gets depressed and the building falls in. And that's what happened. The building's just fallen in. So they can't reopen the environmental learning site. You can go and hang out, but you can't spend the night.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, we're going to put it in a hotel. Which we looked and we looked and we looked and we looked and we couldn't find anything that we really liked. And we talked to a few people and they just didn't have the amenities. So Spring Mysteries Festival is huge. We rent an 18-wheeler truck to move the things to where we're going. There are over 50 tubs, plastic tubs, you know, of items that just belong exclusively to the gods. That doesn't count staging and lighting and sound and vendor and tables and chairs. I mean, it's a big production. So we were like, you gotta feed people and so we started looking at hotels because PantheaCon used to be this fantastic place out here, festival out here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Thousands of people went. It was great. And PantheaCon did not survive the pandemic. Their last year was, I think, 2019.
Yep.
And then we're like, let's go try it. We found a fantastic place, super accommodating, restaurants nearby. We don't have to cook. It was really great. Everybody gets their own bed and bathroom and privacy and all that kind of stuff. And so we held the Kate Sickle Festival at the hotel, and we were really like not sure what to expect. And
yeah,
it was the funnest sickle I've ever had. I got great sleep. All my needs were met. I got to eat. It wasn't cold. I wasn't wet. We had electricity. Everybody had CPAP plug-ins and
yes,
plug-ins for their iPhones and plug-ins for their whatever it is that they've got to plug in for. And you know,
we would have to take those power strips,
yep,
and like extension cord and go, you know, and then you'd have like a hub that you would all charge. Sometimes in the bathrooms at Fort Flagler, you'd see cell phones lined up on the sinks and stuff.
Yes.
So,
yeah. So it was just all of those amenities weren't a problem. And they have this really cool fire pit in the back with chairs and stuff around it. And we discovered that. And we were like, well, there's a fire pit near the hot tub. And so then it was pagans in the fire pit and pagans in the hot tub and pagans in the pool and pagans in the hot tub and pagans at the fire pit. And so we're like, yeah, that's out at 11 o'clock. That's awesome. No,
that is a party.
Like a party in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't you get this idea? I don't know if I'm wrong. Please correct me. But didn't you get the idea for holding it in a hotel from Trish's Summer Magic Fest that they held in a hotel? Or am I remembering that incorrectly?
No, we didn't get the idea from that, but it seems like great minds follow along the same channels.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Because they kind of did it the same. Well, it's the problem is you're coming back from pandemic. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do? You can't put all these people in a big room together. You can't have them all shower together and use communal bathrooms and not expect to be a super spreader, right? So how do you make it safe? And that's how we make it safe.
Yeah. Well, and I've got the dates there. It's from April 6th to April 9th. And then I'm going to put the springmysteries.com. And did you say today, or is it springmysteries.com? Yeah. Yeah. Is there a early bird registration that's ending, or
there's a early ticket registration deadline on February 28th. It's the end of the month. So if you register by the end of the month, you're going to save $50 a ticket. It's really worth it. It's
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's at SeaTac Hilton Convention Center. So it's right near the airport. And people are like, oh, I'm in Washington, D.C. Well, I know. That's why we put it right by the airport. We have people coming from South Korea and Australia. We have people coming from everywhere. So it's an international festival. It is the rites of Eleusis. So you get initiated into the rites of Demeter, which is the goddess of abundance and agriculture and food, growing food and stuff like that. Honey Bear has a good time.
Honey Bear's gonna open the curtain and let everyone see what's behind the curtain. You're like, no, Honey Bear, no.
Right.
This is not Oz. So we actually were talking to a guest yesterday who is going to be a guest speaker at Trish's Summer Magic Fest in June, and he was very pro moving festivals to a hotel, and he was very honest about, there's a lot of cynics out there. We're cynical. We were cynical. We were like, meh, hotel, meh,
But we're outdoorsy, campy people.
We like the outdoors and we like the nature. But boy, that the convenience and being able to go back to your room
at any time.
and decompress, because it's hard to decompress when you've got tons of people around, because at Fort Flagler, yes, you had a little wall or a cloth hanging to for your privacy, but you can hear everyone, and there's people walking through, and there's
You're not
and when
private.
yeah, it's not really private, which there are benefits to that because you feel very communal,
Mhm.
right? Which is beautiful. I love that part. But there were many, many times for me, and I know for others, where it's like, God, I need to just kind of be alone. And because there's a lot that goes on at this festival that makes your energy, it's powerful. So I'm looking forward. We're hoping maybe next year we're going to be able to make it. This year we've got other things going on, but we will be there in spirit. But can you kind of touch upon, um, do you think, with witches and their needs, do you think that this is going to catch on if it hasn't already? Do you think, like, because Evo yesterday said this is the festivals of the future
Yep.
are going to be in hotels? Do you agree with that? And if so, what makes you think that?
Okay, I think that it is that there's room for both.
Mm-hmm.
That there's room for both. There are always going to be people who want to go and camp and get together and do magic together.
Yeah.
But those are going to be the smaller ones because there's so many of us that have health challenges. We
Yes.
need our electronics. We need to be somewhere where we can get to a phone to check on our children. Their paganism, it used to be that we all needed to go somewhere way out in the woods because that way the cops wouldn't come and put our drum circle fire out and make us all go home, because
Right.
that's what would happen. We would
Yeah.
we would have to go way out on private land somewhere where nobody could find us
Yeah.
and then worship. But we don't have that now. There are so many pagans. Oh my goodness, there are so many pagans.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
and
Yeah.
thank goodness, what a great problem to have. But
I know.
those pagans don't want to have to learn things like temperature drop and dew fall and all of your blankets are wet and that's just how it is when you're camping outside. And they don't want to.
Yeah.
And I know that there is a special magic in understanding the difference in preparing for a night when there's no clouds in the sky and preparing for a night when there's cloud cover, because the
Yeah.
cloud cover keeps all the temperatures in. And if it's a cloudy day, it is going to be a warm evening. But if it is the sky's clear, you're going to freeze at night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a special magic to knowing that. But a lot of our witches today just do not have time and energy. They're working on a bigger sky. We've
Yeah.
learned that. They want to know the next thing, right?
Yeah.
And you guys, really, Spring Mysteries is such a production. It's really terrible. Let me paint the scene for you. There are all of these people who have worked for years to be able to hold the God form that they are holding at this time. And they've got all this museum gear on from head to toe. They're holding sacred staves and
Yeah.
shields. And they have to take their shield and hold it over Aphrodite because she's getting rained on for 45 minutes while we're waiting on this part of the scene. We're waiting on people to get done at the Apollo Theater and get down to the bunkers where everybody comes out, and you're supposed to be able to be back there and be all spiritual and be the vessel, and you've had your invocation and you're deep in trance, and then you go outside, and as you stand there, you start becoming more uncomfortable. And then you do your scene, right? And then you have to walk through the grass that's wet and knee high in sandals and silk, and feel like you're a vessel. And it's so the challenges of being outside at a production like this are big. We don't have lights we have
microphones. You have to project. But here's the thing. you guys have been doing it for so long in that kind of atmosphere that doing it in a hotel, you're gonna rock it because you're used
That's
to, you know what's gonna happen. Bring it on. If there's any problems, bring it on. This
yeah.
is nothing compared to having soaking, like Brenna says, my pink hair chalk dyed my white goddess dress when I was a kid. Like that's not gonna happen. So bring whatever else on. So I think that's amazing.
It's true too, Lola. It absolutely is true. When we did Hecate Sickle Festival, we did not know what to expect. We were prepared for anything. We
Yeah.
didn't have to cook. We didn't have to staff a kitchen. We
Yep.
did the whole thing without even having a planned volunteer sheet. My
Wow.
dog is so funny.
I know.
Because there was so little to do. The hotel moves all the tables and chairs around. The hotel prepares food. There are restaurants. There's all you really got to do is check people in. I mean, it's so
and
less intensive.
As I get older, I'm officially in my 50s now. I'm 51. 50 is not this is how I do age thing. When you turn the age, like you turn 40 or 50, whatever, you're not in your 50s. It's when you get that first year pass. So I am now 51. I'm in my 50s. And as I get older, those conveniences are sounding pretty good right now because I'm telling you, as much as we like being out in nature, and we did all the things, and we were stage managers running around doing stuff and getting our shoes muddy and cold, and and we still managed to do it, which is great training for running public events. So if you put us out, anyone who's done these at Fort Flagler through the ATC can go and run a festival or a gathering in a park. If it's raining, we would be able to pull it off. But but man, a shower by myself, a warm bed, that just sounds like I'm getting excited.
Right. You don't have to pack your pillows and your sheets and your sleeping bag. You don't have to pack all of that stuff. It's so nice. You just pull in with your little rolly bag suitcase and everything's all nice for you. Oh my goodness, they even had me a little wine and cheese tray out there. It was wonderful. And they're so glad that we're there. Like there's are we still here?
Yeah, you're cutting out, but I've learned that when you cut out during the interview and I watch the playback, it doesn't cut out. You're fine. So
okay, good. So I was gonna. They're really glad that we're there. Like they're not upset about the pagans being there, which is different from the state. The rangers are really nice to us, but the state workers that we have to deal with, they make it really difficult. They change policies to make it harder for us. They add fees. They do really shady things.
Yeah.
Well, I had to call Pete. Pete and I both have had to go head to head with the state because of the unfair practices they do. And it's really nice being somewhere magically where people want you there instead of don't want you there. Everything just flows. It was beautiful. We're super excited about Spring Mysteries.
I think that if anyone is watching this, and like I said, if you're watching it now, if you're watching the playback, go to the website we have there. Definitely, it is an experience that you will never forget. It has changed so many people's lives. It has changed our lives. It changed our lives. I mean, we are living proof of what it's done for us as priests and priestesses of Wicca. I want to talk a little bit about you being part of you being the archpriestess of the ATC. This is my question to you. I feel like Barbara Walters, Belladonna. Wait. How does
you're a good interviewer? You could give Barbara Walters a run for her money. You're a good interviewer.
Belladonna LaVeau. You know how Barbara Walters tried to make people cry. Tell me about your childhood. No, I'm not asking that. Anyway, no. We don't. No. But I've noticed being part of the ATC and having worked with the school and doing things involved, I've noticed that and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like one of your main focuses is not only making Wicca accessible to people who may not have it in their little neck of the woods, but you're really big on evolving the evolution of Wicca, and your church really promotes new ways to think of Wicca and how people can run their circles, and that's really important to you. We were talking recently yesterday about tradition and about the purists that are very traditional and you must do things, which there is a need for that. We need people who are purists. We need the traditional formation of Wicca, but I feel like you're bringing kind of a new energy. And so was that like your goal when you came in, or has this kind of happened as you've sat back and watched what's happening with Wicca? Did you always know that you were going to be working on evolving it and making it go with the times, or did you just kind of start noticing the times were happening and changing and you're like, okay, we need to keep up? Like, which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing? Does that make sense? I've had wine.
So I'm Persephone, goddess of change. They should have asked first. I don't know. I am a catalyst of change, and I always have been. I've been told everywhere I go that I change things just by going to a place, and people act differently when I'm there. And I don't mean for that to be the case. It just happens that way. So no, it's not planned, but I am aware that it happens. I just listen and do what she asked me to do. When I came to the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, Pete was looking for somebody to run a school. He didn't tell me that that's why he reached out to me. And I was running a school in Georgia. So I came out here and met him because he invited me to Spring Mysteries, and Persephone, Demeter, Aphrodite, and Hecate have been my patron deities for, like I was praying to the Great Mother before I knew the name of a deity. And so when I found out they were doing the Eleusinian Mysteries over there, I was doing them in Georgia. So I was like, yes, I'm coming, I'll be there. Yeah. So I came, and I found my home. And me and Pete just connected. And so he invited me to come to council meetings and stuff like that. And I would find out, what are they doing? And people would be like, well, this one wants this. And there was all this fighting on the council. And I was like, well, what does the goddess want us to do? And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, so you guys, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm a priestess. And so I want to know what the goddess wants us to do. And let's do that. And Pete was like, well, we're running a corporation. So what? But also the Spring Mysteries, we do what the goddess wants us to do. It's not like we can't ask her. Yeah. So I introduced that concept of, we need to do what the goddess asked us to do. And what she's asking us to do right now is save the planet. For a long time, she was asking us to uncover the mysteries, learn how to interpret the secrets, stare at things until it talked to you, bring the goddess into the light. And now she's like, hey, your food supply is threatened. You know?
And that was when you did the world tour. When was that?
2018.
18.
Yeah.
And Demeter, we had you out here with Children of the Crossroads. We were so excited. And I remember Demeter's message was like, things are going to happen. So this was a year before pandemic. 2 years, a year and a half.
Because it's a year and a half. Yeah. She said we had a year and a half.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people didn't ask me. How soon?
Yeah.
A year and a half.
Yeah. So when people say you're the voice of the goddess, because I personally think we are all voices of the goddess. But some people, being a leader in my little community, I'm really surprised, but I don't judge when people are like, oh, I have a hard time invoking, or I have a hard time with that kind of like bringing that connection. And for me, that was never a problem. For us, that was one of the first things that we were able to do so easily. Has it always been that way for you, Bella? Like, have you always just been connecting to something and speaking from somewhere else?
That's an interesting question. So I have been afraid of possession. Like ever since I saw The Exorcist when I was a little girl, you know this story, Lola. Yeah,
I share it with you.
Lola and I both were abused by that doggone movie.
I've got
my parents are playing it in the living room, and my brother's playing it in the back room, and I'm in the hallway with all the doors closed and my fingers stuck in my ears, singing Mormon hymns because I'm afraid that because the Mormon doctrine tells you that 1/3 of the heavenly host is disembodied demons and they want your body, and so I'm scared.
God.
And I was scared for a long time, and I often teach you that your biggest fears are the things that that's your power, right?
Yes.
And so I think that the fact that I'm afraid of possession when I was young helped protect me from it happening too early. And then when I got to be older and I dealt with that fear, it was 21 before I got to where I could sleep in a dark room. I'd sleep with the overhead light on. My husband thought I was nuts. He's a Scorpio. He wanted it completely dark and I wanted it completely light. So I learned how to deal with my fear of the dark. And it happens. Like I live with deity all the time. I'm in constant contact. That's just the way I live now. And I don't think of it as something that's a talent because it's such a part of me now. But I guess it is. I just want to know what it's like your best friend. You want to know what she's doing, what she's feeling, what she needs, what she wants,
Yeah, that's
touch and base.
Yeah, that's my relationship with Hecate. Like when Hecate found me, it just made sense because I felt like she was already in my head and in my thoughts, and from a very young age, and you just don't know what to call that until you get older. So the similar experience I had, and I hope none of my family is watching this right now because they would never watch this. But my older brother tied me to a chair in our Silence of the Lambs basement and made me watch The Exorcist when I was a little girl. So that messed me up, Bella. And so I totally get it. Like, and then I was told to face your fear. So I read about exorcisms. I read about demonic possession, and it was. And that's kind of when I came into my own as well about it's because that was one of my concerns about invocation when I was very first starting out was, isn't that possession? And like, but then I realized, oh, it's not. It's our gods and our goddesses and how we do that. It's not, they don't want to hurt us. They don't speak the language of us. They need someone to interpret that.
They don't want to control us. Possession is something that wants to control you. Deity wants to express through you. There's a huge difference in this.
I like that. Yes. Deity wants to express.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of being a priest or a priestess is that you love them and you want to serve them and you try to reach out and do what they ask you to do. And if you're not doing that, you're really not doing it.
Yeah.
It's not about your message. It's about their message. It's not about what you want to do or who's there serving you or what you're telling people to do. It's about service to the Lord and Lady. And I love that. I've been that way since I was a kid. So really, Lola, maybe the gods were protecting you too, because knowing how me and you are, they were like, okay, so I'm going to make it to where you're not going to invite anybody into your body because you might invite everybody into your body.
Okay, well, that's a different story because in my 20s, I invited a lot to my body.
We're not going to talk about that now. And then y'all go out and have as much fun as you can because once I tap that ass as a priest, you're going to be working.
Yeah.
clink and drink to the gods tapping the ass.
Making you work.
Making you work.
For those of you watching this and think witchcraft is fun, it is.
It's a lot of fun.
But it's a lot more work than fun.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work.
Though. It's work that makes me feel good about myself and go to
It's happy work, but it's work.
Yeah, yeah. So what's happening with the ATC? You guys are now, I know. So tell us, I know that you guys are starting to open back up to the public, which is really exciting. So yeah, tell us what's going on with the ATC. What are the plans? What's going on?
Well, the goddess sent me to school during the pandemic, so I got all these new tools, and I am enjoying implementing them. We have so many opportunities. Terry Riley has just had a huge, Terry Riley's feeding Lake City, Arkansas at a food bank that he built with his coven because Demeter came to his town and told him her message. And so Demeter has blessed him and blessed him and blessed him. And he's coming to Spring Mysteries, and we're having a leadership dinner for him. And he's going to share with us the amazing things that he has done and how the goddess has rewarded him. And it is such an exciting story. You guys, it's going to change paganism and what we can do. Terry Riley is such an amazing leader. I mean, I just get thinking about it. What?
We love Terry.
We love Terry. He's so amazing. What he's done is seriously coven goals.
He's a legend. He's a legend. And if you ever get a chance to meet Terry Riley, you should. The stories that man tells, oh my gosh. So he's going to be our keynote speaker. And, well, there's rumor has it, okay, just between us, nobody else is here, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, we're not, no.
Okay, really, this is hush, hush. Don't tell nobody.
I won't.
They are this close to launching an accreditation board program.
Oh,
very cool.
For schools, for like a class that you'll teach at your coven, Lola, you'll be able to accredit that class with the college. So when people go to your coven and they take your class, it's an accredit to the college for an elective or Wicca 101 or whatever it is you're teaching. We'll be able to do it. Oh my God, I'm so excited, but we're this close.
That's on the DL, everybody.
That's on the DL, yeah. We'll announce it when it's ready. But in the meantime, I am a tingle with this. That's historic. That's going to bring us together as a people and help unite us and make us stronger so that we can take it to the next level and do more, and that's what I do. I try to take it to the next level. Well, the school Spiral Scouts is doing really great. We're the 4th largest scouting agency in the United States. I'm so proud of them, and they're growing every day. They had a lot of growth during the pandemic, and it's the future stewards of the earth. They've got a really great mission. It's about teaching people how to take care of the earth and be good citizens to each other, be good community to each other. And I really love their mission. We have a new junior class Moon Journals book that's coming out that has been on the table for a while. We have finally found the missing ingredient for channeling divinity. So that's going to be published. That's the 3rd book in the ABC series, Accelerated Wicca Between the Worlds and Channeling Divinity. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that. It's like the goddess said, okay, sit down. And she did. She literally said, live through this because I'm going to need you guys on the other side. Well, this seems to be the other side because the doors are just opening and it's so exciting. Like we have an opportunity to really make a difference here and we can do it. We can do it. I believe that pagans are the superheroes that the world needs and that's why we were activated, in the 60s. Right?
Yeah.
Like 1965. That's when I was born. That was the summer of
you
love,
activated it.
I'm here. Deal with me. So, I really believe that we can make a difference and that the earth is seriously suffering from our lifestyles right now. And pagans have really great ideas about different lifestyles. Camping, part of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I do think that we have a great opportunity, and she is putting us in a place to where we're going to be able to grow in ways that the pagan community has not been able to do before, because there hasn't been a reason, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, you know, I owe so much to attending the Wiccan Seminary. I learned so much about bringing community together online. And I never thought that that would be my contribution to creating communities. But we've got our Discord channels that do so well, and we have created such a wonderful community online. And I learned it all at the school. I learned all of that at the school. I am not computer okay, I am now. I mean, not super computer savvy, but before I went to the school, I did not know any of that stuff. And now we are constantly being told, thank you so much for providing this community, because there's so many people that cannot get out to public events or what for whatever reason. And so we've formed this wonderful little online community that we just, I owe so much to the school. I really, really do. And that's become kind of my, I always thought I was more, because I'm very outgoing. I don't know if you knew this about me. And I don't mind going out in public and talking, which we do. We are part of the planning committees here in town. But I get so much joy from doing our online stuff because the people are so appreciative of it. And so, yeah.
It opens up a much larger community and environment to reach out to,
Yeah.
because there's people all over that have no one around them. And we've learned this from you guys.
Yeah.
We'll be and we've modified so forth, but we've learned from what you guys have done with your guys' reaching out on the online community to build, to reach out, to learn how to do ritual through online activities, where it doesn't lose any value just because it's online.
Yeah.
It just allows you to reach out people that could not communicate or be part of these.
And you guys are doing hybrid again for Spring Mysteries. Is that correct? You're doing online and in person.
Well, thank you for all those accolades about the school. I really love the school myself. It's my brainchild. I have passed dean of the college on to somebody else because I wanted to outlive me, and I need to make sure there's good leadership before I pass away, because I want to reincarnate and go to that school.
So it's your legacy.
Yeah, really, yes. And I remember when I first started doing it, and people were like, online is crap. You can't have meaningful relationships online. You can't have meaningful rituals online. Same thing with the hotels. Lola, same thing. And I'm okay. I'm a maverick. I do new things. Yes, I do. I'm good with that. Yeah, no problem. And I think outside the box, but it does make some people uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
When you're human, you often cling to the old ways, and you want to do things the way my daddy hunted in this forest, and my granddaddy hunted in this forest, and I'm gonna hunt in this forest, right? So, but the pandemic came, and we were just ready.
Yeah,
we were just ready, right?
I know.
We were like, you 4 weeks. We went from online, from in-person production to online production. Amazing production.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how good we did. And then we just upped the ante every year, added in more stuff, added in sounds and lights and videos. And
oh my God. And people hopped on that. Other groups during the pandemic saw what ATC was doing with online stuff during the pandemic, and it was like, I mean, yes, there were challenges, but we were all trained with how to deal with those challenges, and it was really cool to see that we did Spring Mysteries online, a festival online in the pandemic. We were thinking, how the heck are we going to do this? But then when we did it, it's like, this is what we've trained for. Like, this is what we've been doing. And then you saw other groups starting to go, okay, yeah, they're onto something. So yeah,
Yeah.
I like how you guys are. What do you call it? The trendsetters, or
Trendsetters, yeah.
yeah. I say you guys. We're part of you. I always say you guys like we're separate. How us as the ATC
Trailblazers.
trailblazers? Yes, we're
I like
trailblazers.
how we're trailblazers too, Lola.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And
Yes.
so any other things? I know that you guys are. Uh, I lost my train of thought with the school. The school.
Well, it's
Anything?
probably because I was thinking, when you go to fashion shows and you see the new fashion trends, you always think, eh. And then by the time it's in Walmart, you're like, yeah, okay,
Oh, I
that's,
love it.
yeah, right. That's what we're wearing now, and
Yeah.
and so it's the same way when you're a leader in any field, you're going to be doing the next thing first. And I feel like I tell people all the time, I'm about 3 years ahead of what we're actually going to do because I'm listening, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what do you want us to do? Okay, we got to turn right. Like in 3 years, turn right, but tell them now so in 3 years they'll be ready. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I wanted to talk to you about being a high priestess or a high priest. I was actually talking to one of my coven members about they were saying that someone in their life was like they know that's not part of our coven. It's someone that we're friends with, and they were saying that they were ready to because they did solitary for so long that they were ready to start a coven as a solitary practitioner. They felt like I've earned the right as a high priestess.
Don't make
Um,
that face.
don't make the face. And and they were like, I'm ready to do this.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's a misconception, and I want to talk about this. There's a misconception about what a high priest or a high priestess does. I don't think it has a whole lot. I mean, yeah, yes, it's important to know a lot about witchcraft, but there's so much more to it. And I was explaining it to my coveners about there's coveners in my coven that have been practicing witchcraft longer than I have. But I have a gift of being able to organize and
Manage
teach
people.
and manage people.
Clergy is
What we were talking about the percentages. Remember?
Yeah.
What would you say being a high priestess or high priest? Because we were saying I started spewing off, oh, it's 30% knowledge of witchcraft, 30% social skills, 30%, like what would you say that it is? Because you've been doing this a
Oh,
lot longer than me.
I tell you, really, when I went around and met all of the people that were other leaders in the community to find out what their great secret is of being a good leader so that I could be a good leader when I was going to be ordained as the archpriestess, Don Lewis told me to just smile. And other people told me very similar things. He's like, people are going to make up what they are going to make up about you, and there ain't nothing that you can do one way or another that's going to change how people think about you. So just smile. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's the best leadership advice he can give me. And I use that a lot. We talked about that earlier. You got to cultivate that smile. And that is because the leadership has so much to deal with interpersonal relationships.
Yep.
One time, John Lesnick asked Dusty, he said, are you king? And Dusty was like, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm not king. I'd have a crown. I'm pretty sure they'd have told me if I was king. And John Lesniak said that the king knew everybody's story, and he weaved the community together through their stories. Okay, like Lola's got a story, and Lola's story tells us Lola's needs, Lola's desires, her goals, her capabilities. And a good leader can weave Lola's story into the community. And so I thought that was really brilliant advice, but you got to smile while all of those people are at your, whatever their perceptions of what's going on in community or with your leadership, or the fact that they don't like the way the chicken was cooked. I mean, whatever it is, you got to be like, yes, I'm here to listen to it.
Yeah.
And the leader doesn't, I mean, there's been times where I've wanted to post things on Facebook that said, you know, my feelings aren't important. Nobody cares about what I think about a situation. Why don't people consider how I'm going to look at them when they start chewing on my? But the truth of it is that leaders don't get the same courtesy that everybody else gets. They set the culture, they set the tone, and so they have to comport themselves in a different way than everybody else. And that is a sacrifice that you have to make being a leader, that people that are solitary already don't want to work in a group, or they be in a group. They're not capable of working with other people.
There's nothing wrong with our solitary witches, because I
No,
think
absolutely not. But they like working alone, or they work in groups, or they go to groups and they butt heads. They don't see the same thing. Now, I think the solitary practitioners have great wisdom to offer, and I really wish that they would just come and work with the groups, because they've got so much to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
But the starting a coven, I think when people say I'm going to start a coven, what they mean is I'm going to find a couple of people to do magic with.
Yeah.
And when we hear starting a coven, we think build a church.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not the same at all. You got to have all these other skills.
And that's sorry, honey, go ahead.
Well, the way I look at this is in leadership, especially in a spiritual environment, is you got to be willing to take the arrows but not feel the pricks.
Well, see, here's what I say about it. So, have y'all ever seen Alligator Hunter?
No. I didn't even know that was a show. I didn't know that was a show.
I love the Bayou. I love Louisiana.
Are you talking about the alligator hunting show? I used to whatever it was.
Oh,
I used to watch that all the time.
Yes, we know that show.
So the blonde guy who hunted alligators, like, he would stick his hand in logs to hunt snakes. Yeah. Like, this was truly a person who grew up in the bayou.
Yep.
And he says, well, if y'all ever think you want to consider hunting an alligator, I invite you to come try.
So is that what you think about? If you want to start a coven, I invite you to try. So that is my thing. Yeah.
Maybe you'll be great at it. And maybe you won't. We won't know until you try. But, you know, the different language means different things. And, you know, sometimes people are called to a coven position who you think, well, they're really not that great of a witch. And then they are a fantastic high priestess. And sometimes people are called to a coven position where you think, man, they're going to kill it. And they're just not a leader. They like to follow. They need somebody else to carry the vision.
Absolutely.
And all these different kinds. So I think they should give it a try. But remember, starting a coven's like hunting alligators, man.
Yeah. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that term because my girls in my coven that have to have a talk with this person, they're like, because she wants to start a coven, and they're like, there's so much to being a high priestess. We look at our high priestess and all that she does, and I was trying to tell them, and I'm like, it's like hunting alligators.
It's like hunting alligators. It's just, you think that you're going to meet people who are going to be sweet and wonderful and want to circle with you, and then you do some magic together, and that opens things up, and then suddenly everybody's dealing with their shadow with each other, and there's nobody that set ground rules, and there's not methodologies of how to deal with that. And if you don't grow up in a coven, you don't learn any of that. You don't learn how to deal with all multiple magical creatures in the same room together. You know, dragons and cats and bats. I mean, come on. They don't all get along.
Dragons and cats and bats. Oh my.
I love lots of people. There's not lots of people I want to do magic with.
Yeah, that's the important part, and I've learned that through the years, because when I got out of the coven that I first started in, and I was like, I'm going to start my own coven, and I'm going to do everything that this coven did not do. So and I was very naive because there were things that they did that I carry with me. And it was so much harder than I thought. And I was one of those people. And I was like, I'm gonna start a coven and we're gonna
This
worship
is
the
fun.
I'm gonna
goddess.
do it my way.
Yeah, and we're gonna play witch together and then I realized from training from my previous coven and training from the school, which I have told people there's a lot of people that also have a misconception about what the school is about. Now, I don't know because I graduated a while ago, so maybe things have changed. But when people are like, I want to learn witchcraft, I'm going to the Wiccan Seminary. And I'm like, well, yeah, you'll learn some basics, but they're training you to be clergy. And that's different.
That is much different.
That's much different, correct?
Well, there are definitely magical classes. You learn some spells that are practical.
Yeah.
Like basil gets rid of anger. We're putting together a new Magic 306 class this year, but a lot of the the first year of training is how does magic work within me, and it's more about how to use your own magic and the power within you and how to work through your shadow. Second year is working through shadow stuff. It's a whole year of shadow work
Yeah.
in order to get that stuff out of the way so you can be clergy. Third and fourth year are more like training you to be a priest and priestess. First 2 years are magical training.
Yeah, you get your magical training and then you start to learn clergy. And I've told people that. Now, Nim, our lovely friend Nim, is saying,
A student of yours.
can you talk about the joy of first degree initiations from the teacher's experience? We just had a first degree
Elevation.
initiation yesterday. Our lovely coven sister Ariel elevated or was initiated as first degree. So that was really exciting. We went straight from talking to Evo yesterday at Witches and Wine, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a full-time priestess because I'm like, Witches and Wine, we're done. We got to go initiate someone. Let's go. Like it was like and it was just so much. I was like,
gotta juggle the church.
but I loved it. I love it. I love it. We love it. Sometimes we get tired. First degree initiation without giving away too many secrets. Can you? Because for me, we just did it last night. It's really for me. It was fun, and almost this moment of pride. Like I was so proud to see her go through what we put her through and still be there and show up and take the oaths and do the things, and it's just it's a very prideful moment. How would you explain that first degree initiation? Because that's the beginning.
Yeah.
Like dedicants, yes, you're kind of on the you're thinking.
It's definitely the beginning. People think initiate. Oh, finally I'm initiated, but you mean, well, when you're initiated into the wise tradition, or when I initiate you, you become my magical daughter or son. You know, my spiritual daughter or son. And so it's an intimate experience. It's a moment of pride, but it's a lot like when you have a baby, and it's one of choice though. It's not the same as a child, but it's very close. I mean, I've raised 3 children and I've raised umpteen witches, and I will tell you that a lot of the things that happen are the same things that happen with children. You go through it, and so when you initiate them, you are, to me, it's a magical adoption. So that's what I feel like. I have put all of this work into you. It takes way longer than 9 months to incubate a witch.
Yep.
To gestate a witch, and they stretches the stretch marks, for God's sake. But
the spiritual stretch marks.
Well, and I would like to comment on this because Ariel was my first person that student that I've elevated to first degree since I've become a third degree high priest.
So we our tradition is he will initiate the women in our group, and I will initiate the men. And so he ran the whole thing, and then there was when you talk about student, teacher, child, mother. So in that terms, I trained him, right? And I brought him up. And then I got to watch him yesterday do the whole initiation. Like me and my maiden were just there to like help. And I stood back and watched him. And I had this moment of like, oh my God, look at him do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was I just think there's so much. It's very proud.
I think a third degree initiation is more of that. Oh my God, look, they're doing it without me. Look, they've graduated. Where a first degree is more like, now I get to raise you as my own.
Well, that's such a beautiful thing, and that's another really important part of being in a coven is that there is that intimate relationships of sharing your spiritual soul with each other, and you got to make sure that works. And not everybody can get into your coven. I mean, there's misconceptions. People are like, oh, can I be in your coven? What paperwork do I have to fill out? And we're just like, no, like.
I mean, I guess we can give you a form, but it's a whole lot more. We need to find out
who are you? Like,
yeah, you don't have to fill out any paperwork. We're not going to run your credit or anything, but I'm going to have to hang out with you for a while and see if I actually want to be around. Like people think of it, and that's the reason that we have to evolve it, because used to be, before the internet, you couldn't find any witches. I had to read a spell for my teacher to pop out of the woodwork. But now people are looking up the local Wiccan group and they want to go. And so you have to have outer court and inner court. And when people say, can I join your coven? I think it's the same language issue, is they don't understand what they're asking. And what they really mean is, can I keep coming to your public events?
Yes.
And you really got to kind of be like, okay, what are they really asking me? So we had a lady show up one day and she went around and asked all of the people the same question. And it was the kind of question that you would, it's an intimate question. It's not the kind of question you would just ask somebody when you first meet them.
Yeah.
And she just didn't know those. So she didn't know what she was asking people.
And that's the thing is there's like I said, I really, that's why we refer people, like, if you really want to know how coven dynamics work, we suggest books to them before you we suggest the Thorn Mooney book, a Traditional Wicca, A Seeker's Guide. That is really good about coven work. She really breaks it down about how it's coven and the logistics. And I've had several people come to me and say, oh, because sometimes it's hard to put it into words when we're doing it, and we've been doing it. Yeah. So there's a lot to it, and we're all willing to listen, but it's, there's a lot that goes into running a coven. There's a lot that goes into vetting people. There's a lot that goes, and I'm still learning, and I'm learning wonderful things about myself. And again, I owe a lot of that to the ATC and the school. And I feel that I hope that as much as we love you, that I hope we represent you well.
Oh, I love you, Lola. I think that you do. Yes, I'm so proud of you.
I just wanted to hear
love you. I love spending time with you. I love for you guys to come to the house. I love getting drunk with you. I love,
we have a good time.
But I was going to say, one of the reasons that, and this just came up Monday night in class, one of the reasons that I started Wiccan Seminary and have the sophomore class set up the way it is that sophomore class, that's kind of your school coven. By the time you get to sophomore class, if you move up with that class moves up together, right? Yep. And so you kind of get to learn a little bit about coven dynamics and how that manifests in your life and how people will reflect your shadow to you and tools of how to deal with that. Because that's a lot of it, I think, is tools of how to face your shadow. we all talk about we want to do shadow work, and then you come to one of my workshops and you're like, damn it, Bella, now I'm crying. Well, I want to go to the underworld. I didn't know you were going to kill me first. So, you know, witchcraft, you guys. But I think that when it comes to working in that kind of a way, you don't know what's being taken, when you're being taken advantage of. And a lot of times you'll go to these covens and you'll come out with horror stories where if you knew what to expect when they did something, you know, you don't know they're not supposed to tear your clothes off of you. If they did it to everybody else in front of you, you're like, oh, but if you go to the school and you're like, they tore everybody's clothes off of them, is that normal? No, baby, that's not normal. That's not normal. You know, or they made us all clean their boots. No, that's not normal. Or, you know, but they tied us up and blindfolded us. Yes, that's normal. See, there's some things that sound like that's out of the ordinary and that they wouldn't do that, but that is normal. And there's some things it's not, and new people don't know. And so in sophomore year, you go through, this is what a dedication looks like. This is what having to wait looks like and why you have to wait. This is what a rite of passage looks like, so that people can experience, everybody's a little bit different, but you know what it's supposed to feel like. You know what to expect. You know that this is what it looks like when somebody's taking advantage of you.
Well, and we're going to wrap it up here because I knew we would run over, but I don't mind running over with you because we love each other. But
I didn't play anything for the rest of the day because
right. But when you were saying sophomore classes is your coven, well, I don't know what that means for me because by the time I got to my senior year, Bella, I was all by myself.
Wow,
I was a coven of one.
That does happen sometimes. We had a couple of years. I think when Skyfae was a senior, she was all by herself too. It's rare, but see, if you start out with 10, and then you go to the next year and you lose however many you lose, and then you get to the next year. But see, that year that we only graduated like 7 sophomores, right?
We went from freshmen, a group of like 20 something, to sophomores to a group of about 8 or 9. And then junior year, there was about 8, 4. Then it went down to like 4. And then by my senior year, it was me and someone else. And then they left. And then, but the thing is by my junior year, with the year before me was Skyfae. And because she was alone, I was asked to help out. So I was getting some extra training that I wouldn't have got if she wasn't alone. So I look at it as a blessing because I learned how to work under pressure and do everything by myself.
You get more experience that way. So I have come up with a bribe, and I did not think that something like this would work because I just didn't think it would work. And so what I've done is I've put together a chakra bracelet. Look, it's got all the little chakra colors, the little emblems on them. And they're the little colors and stuff like that. And it's little, oh my God. So it's a Pandora bracelet, right?
Yeah.
They come off and they go on one at a time. So you get the bracelet when you turn in all your black homework on time. Because you got to turn in your homework to pass the class. Mm-hmm. And then you get the first bead, the red bead, when you turn in your red homework, and you get, each bead when you turn in your homework. And I will tell you, Lola, for the first time ever in 15 years of teaching the sophomore class, the first time I've had all the students in black turn in their homework. I am blown away. It's color therapy for those of you who are, it's black and then red and then orange and yellow. Yeah. So we had all the students turn in their black homework on time so that they could get their bracelet.
Well, we're going to, I've learned from you guys, we're going to start working with badges. We're going to give our coven members badges for completing things that they need to complete. It's incentive.
People like to earn the bling.
They like the incentive. Yeah. Well, we are good. Oh my God, we could go on and on and on, but We got dinner we gotta make, because believe it or not, this high priest and high priestess, we got Discord Seeker's Path at 6:30 tonight.
We have
that
more teachings and
we got more
discussion.
teachings to do. So
Awesome.
oh my God, thank you, Bella. I love you as a guest. Like I prepare for guests I don't know, and it's Bella, and we're like, oh yeah, we know Bella. We're good.
All right, I know everything about Bella.
I
I've read
know,
her
I know.
email.
So thank you so much, Bella. We love you so much, and we're looking forward to working with you more and learning more from you and just sharing experiences. And for anyone who's watching, if you want to be well, first of all, I got to put this up because I'm learning this. I've learned this. It's okay to ask for donations.
Oh yes, please.
We have a PayPal that you'll see down there. It's COTCATC. PayPal me COTCATC. If you want to donate to our coven, we are trying to spread our message here in Spokane, Washington, and we want to be able to do that, and with Witches and Wine and all the things. So you can donate there. We also have a Venmo. It's the same thing. It's COTCATC. Please feel free to donate.
And then if you want to donate to our mother church, you can do that at Wiccan
All right, ATC. I don't have it, but what is the mother church is ATC
Wicca.
Wicca.
Yep.
Yeah.
ATC
I need to
Wicca.
put that in our banner.
And we are affiliated, so if you support us, some of
We
tithe,
support the church.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so forth. So
And you guys,
yeah,
donate to the spiritual institutions that feed you. If you're watching Witches and Wine, give them some money. If you're going to an event, give them some money. You guys, these people run on donations, and we have to inculcate a culture of giving in paganism. If we're going to save this planet, we're going to have to put our money where our mouth is. Otherwise, we're going to be swimming in trash.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out, because I got some shadow work that I still got to do with asking for money.
Man, I give 10% of my money to the church every time I get paid. I don't care what else is going on. That's the first thing that happens.
And also, for those of you that are watching us, if you're interested in what we do as a coven, if you want to have some ideas or want to be a guest on our show, or you just want to ask us, hey, who are you? What do? You can email us at
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
Remember, always be kind to one another. Always walk with the goddess. And until next time, blessed be. Thank you so much,
Bye,
Bella, and have a wonderful night, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.